Let's get it out of our system and I want you to give our special visitors the loudest round of applause you can muster right now. So I'm gonna introduce everybody to you. And after I introduce them, I'm gonna give them the microphone. We'll kind of work down the line, and I want you to listen. Each person up here on the panel today is a leader in some way, shape, or form, and it's our goal for you guys to be down here in the future, for you guys to take over the leadership roles once us old people are gone. And so, well, thank you. I don't know if that's because you want to be gone or. So real quick, as I call your name, please stand as I introduce you. Mr. Tony Dearman. We have the Deputy Director of School Operations, Mr. Bart Stevens. We have the Senior Policy Advisor to the Assistant Secretary, Ms. Allison Grigonis. We have the Advisor to the Assistant Secretary, Mr. Clint Hastings. We have the Senior Advisor to the Deputy Director of BIA Law Enforcement, Mr. Darren Cruzan. And we have the Attorney General for the Sac and Fox Nation, Mr. Daniel Carter. And I'm going to let Ms. Beatty introduce our last guest because she is friends with him and he represents her tribe.
Mr. Dearman is going to speak first.
What we're going to do, we're going to let the panel just kind of tell you what their role is and how they impact where you're at in our schools. So I'll start right here with Mr. Stevens.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. All right. My name is Bart Stevens, and I am San Carlos Apache. Also, Maricopa from the Gila River Indian community. I'm Shoshone Bannock from Fort Hall, Idaho. And I'm Ute from Fort Duchesne, Utah. So, all my relatives. You know, I've probably been to each one of your reservations because I'm a big powwow guy. So, done that. Now I'm a little too busy to do that, but powwow even here. Had a great time here a couple of years ago at I think it was a graduation powwow, but it was really something interesting and I really enjoyed it. My role in the Bureau of Indian Education is to look after you all in one sense or another. I oversee many different divisions within the Bureau from the Washington, D.C. office, including school safety, facilities, information technology, budget and finance, just a variety of things that are important for me because they are important for you. To ensure that you are safe, you have a full belly, you're warm, or cool in the summer. And hey, we're all cool in the summer, right? Hey, good to see you. So that's my role, and I take it very seriously. I've been in education a long time. Started off as a classroom teacher in public school, worked my way up to administration in public school, district office in public school, then I jumped ship and joined the government and became an official within Indian education, where my passion lies. Because like I said, if you don't have the tools to be successful, it's on me. Because of those things that I have to ensure that each and every one of you has. So you can go out and make the difference for your families, your relatives, your grandparents, our families. Because I grew up just like you. Those from San Carlos, I lived in Moonbase. I lived in One Step Beyond in White River. lived in Fort Duchesne, lived in Fort Hall, lived in Kings Canyon. So anyway, I'm familiar with your lives because I've lived it. And I know that if you're given the tools to be successful, which I'm going to make sure you are, you too will be up here one of these days doing what we're doing. Because I believe in you all. But that's kind of my role. I don't want to take up too much time. We have a long panel to share some information. But it's good to be here, and it's good to see all your smiling faces and your bright eyes.
Good morning. I'm Daniel Carter. I'm an Indian law practitioner here in Oklahoma. I currently serve in various roles, including the Attorney General of the Sac and Fox Nation, and my firm serves as General Counsel to the Quapaw Tribe. I'm from here in Oklahoma. I'm a member of the Muskogee Creek Tribe, having Muskogee here. All right, good. Well, I want to tell you a little bit about my background. I grew up in Pawhuska, Oklahoma, where the Osage Reservation is. Any Osage? All right, great. Yeah. Perfect. Well, I have a probably similar background to a lot of people on this panel and a lot of you out there. I started school at Osage Indian Head Start and then went on up to Indian Camp in 5th and 6th grade. In about 8th grade, one of my teachers had a mock trial, and the mock trial was related to an Indian tribe and some murders that happened with the Osage Indian tribe. We had a mock trial and I got to play an attorney in that role, and I just enjoyed it. From that time I just decided, well, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be an attorney representing Indian country, helping my people, helping my tribe, helping my community. And so I just worked hard in the classroom throughout high school, went to Oklahoma State University, studied every day, very hard there, went on to UCLA. I got accepted to go to law school there. They have a good Indian law program, and that's where I met one of our other panelists, Allison Gergonis. People from all over the country just learning how to be an Indian law practitioner and serve their communities. Upon graduation, I had the opportunity to go work at the Senate Committee on Indian Affairs in Washington, D.C. The Senate Committee on Indian Affairs, it has a lot of different roles. One of those roles is to oversee legislation that's being passed by the United States Congress that impacts Indian country, so various bills related to police enforcement, food programs, education. We review those, look at those and decide, make decisions, and advise the senators on whether that would be a good thing for Indian country or a bad thing for Indian country. Another role was to oversee different agencies such as the Indian Health Service, the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the Bureau of Indian Education, and just to make sure that the agents in those agencies are looking out for the best interests of Indian country, hold them accountable. Finally, after 3 years of serving in that role, I wanted to come back to Oklahoma, back where I was born and raised, and try to make an impact on my community. And so now I'm an Indian law practitioner serving various tribes in Oklahoma. And what we do is just make sure that the youth and the people of those tribes are served properly. You know, whatever the tribes need to make their communities a better place, whether it's passing a new law just related to the tribe, or whether it's getting new benefits to build a new school or new facility. That's the role that I get to play today. And it all started back when I was in 8th grade, and really just decided that that's what I want to do. That's the impact that I want to have in life. And I feel like each of you, you're at that point in your life. You might not feel like it, but you can decide what you want to do, and then put forth that effort and work towards it no matter what. I didn't have any attorneys in my family. You know, I had a single mom, just grew up and didn't really have a lot of advantages, but I worked hard and then was able to accomplish what I wanted. I feel like you can each do that too. So, thank you.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Did you hear that person scream whenever they introduced me a while ago? I told my wife this morning, I said, make sure you scream loud when they introduce me. She did good, she did good. I'm gonna walk around and mess with Mr. Unap. He's reporting us, so now he's gotta follow me, he's gotta move his camera around. Hey, we have a really special guest today. And the one thing I want you to listen to is the message as we go down the line. Mr. Stevens said, and Mr. Vineyard talked about, you need to be here. You need to be sitting up here in leadership roles. When the chairman speaks to you in a little bit, I want you to listen and come up with some really good questions. Because when I was at Riverside Indian School, people would say, what do you want for your kids? I want you to get the knowledge, the experience, and the confidence to be in these chairs. I want you to get the knowledge and the confidence and experience to where you're the tribal leader of your tribe, meeting the president. The power that we have, sometimes we don't even recognize the power that we have. And it starts right here. There'll be some of you, I get excited sitting up here looking across the faces in the crowd. Some of you are going to be leaders. Some of you know it, some of you believe it, and some of you don't even have any idea yet what you can do. Mr. Moore here? Mr. Moore? Can you come here for a second? I want to make a point. Now, going through high school, I play basketball. Yes, I play basketball. Now, I want to ask you, I'm visual. Am I going to win in the basketball court with this guy? Yeah. No, I'm not going to win. Seriously, I'm not. You work hard. Seriously, I'm not. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Mr. Lee, are you here? Where's Mr. Lee? Yeah. Mr. Lee, come here for a second. I'm visual. This is the way I taught class. Now, I also played football. So, if me and this guy are running full as hard as we can and we hit each other, who's winning? You! I think so too, but no, I'm not. The law of physics says I'm not winning that battle. But there was one place I could compete with anyone. Anyone. I didn't care how big they were, what they looked like. I could compete. And it's right there, in the classroom. But you know what I had to do? How many students have IRs? If you've been here, how many people have IRs? Okay, I'm going to tell you this. To get up here, I've had my paddlings. You don't know what paddlings are. I'm old school. Back in the day, when you got in trouble, there wasn't no IRs. You got to go to the principal's office and actually pick out your paddle so that you could bend over in front of everybody and they'd paddle you. Now you can do it now, this time of day. That's not going to work. You're going to be on national TV. What I'm going to get to is this. If you have a hard time following directions now with your teachers, if you have a hard time doing the work that they're giving you now, this is going to be tough. This is going to be tough. And it starts with you. You have to have confidence. You have to have a work ethic. Because I've always said this, even when I interviewed for this position that I'm in now, I told the committee, I may not be the smartest person in the room, I may not be the best looking person in the room, but I promise you this, you're not going to outwork me, because I'll have one of the biggest hearts in the room. So it starts with you. So meaning this, if I have a teacher, how many people work every day in class? Okay. If I have a teacher that don't make me work every day, I'm asking that teacher, why are you not pushing me? And we have great staff. I know we do. I've been here. We have great staff. But when they ask you to do something, even if it's hard, if you want to be here one day, you're going to do it. You're going to do it and say, give me more. If they tell you to do something that you don't want to do, you're not going to get an IR. You're just going to get up and do it. It starts now. It don't start 10 years from now. It starts now. So, here in a little bit, when Chairman Archambault gets up here and speaks, I want you to be thinking, how did he get to that position? How do I get to that position? What can you do for your tribes? And ask some really good questions. We just met with the little ones, the little kids. How many cats do you have? Cats. How many dogs? We want really good questions. And to them, they were good questions. They were. They're probably all going to go back and get rid of their cats because the chairman, he said, I'm a dog person, I'm not a cat person, so they're going to get rid of their cats. But I'm going to tell you how honored you should feel. This gentleman, he could have went to any school in the nation, anywhere. How many people have read about the pipeline issue? I know you have social media. I know you have Facebook. He could have gone to anywhere to talk to kids, to students, but he's here. He's here. What I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to give him the mic yet. I'm going to make you wait just a little bit longer. But I'm going to hand the mic to Mr. Romanos, and then we'll finish the introductions, and then we'll turn it over.
Everyone, good morning. I don't want to take very long, but I wanted to play something here for you. I hope you can pick it up. Wasn't very long, I told you. Does anybody tell me where you were at March the 10th this past year? Anybody know where they were at? March the 10th. Where were you at March the 10th? Where were you at in the evening? March the 10th.
Yukon.
Was anybody at UConn? I'll tell you, that's the most energetic group of students I've ever seen, and I've been in education for a long time. Let me tell you, they were so proud to be part of a team that made it so far that, you know, it showed a lot of unity. They were chanting as they were coming out the gym, and no one told them to do that. No one said, hey, when we come out the gym, we're going to chant. No, they didn't. To me, that showed unity. I'm one of the older people here. I can remember the time I was in college, and there was something else going on up north. And it seems like these Lakota guys caused a lot of trouble there. It was called Wounded Knee. Anybody heard of Wounded Knee? I know that's history to a lot of you. If you were grown up in my generation, Wounded Knee took place up north where there was injustice being done toward Native Americans. And I don't care what tribe you were, where you lived at, and you know how old you were, you heard about Wounded Knee. I mean, you wanted to be part of Wounded Knee. I wanted to be part of Wounded Knee. I was in the military, and if I was to go up there, I'd probably be classified as AWOL, so I couldn't do that. But it was a part of our generation that we knew something was wrong, something was going on there that shouldn't happen to Indian people. And so today, you have the pipeline, and this is your Wounded Knee. This is the Wounded Knee of your generation. So let me tell you, you are very, very privileged to have our Shenvo here to talk to you. So with that, I'm going to stop.
Hello, my name is Allison Gregonis, and I'm a member of the Pokagon Band of Potawatomi Indians, and we're from Michigan and Indiana. Do we have any Anishinaabe here? And no Anishinaabe, not one Potawatomi. No, I see a one. Okay, all right. We're a little light on the Anishinaabe folks today. Younger kids, we're showing you guys up. Well, thank you so much for having us here. I'm going to keep it short because I know you guys want to hear what the chairman's got to say. All I'm going to say is I'm an attorney, and I have the opportunity to work for the Assistant Secretary for Indian Affairs. He is the highest ranked person in our federal government who specializes in Indian country issues. And I get to help him do what he wants to accomplish, which is really just kind of educate other folks in the federal government about what Indian country needs. I've gotten to work on some BIE issues, and so it's such an honor to be here today and see everything, see your beautiful school, and take those messages back with me to DC. Before I started in this job, I was at the White House, and I worked for President Obama. And yeah, Obama. These guys think I cheat when I say Obama. It's a crowd pleaser here. But I just hope that, you know, when you see any one of us that are up here right now, we look at you and we see ourselves. We don't see any difference between ourselves and you. We hope that you don't see us as anything different. When I was growing up, I didn't know one single attorney, not one. And my grandma just really pulled me aside and said, you know, you like to read, you seem like you're a smart kid. I hope that you can be an attorney, and I hope that you can advocate for our people. So that really put me on the path that I'm on today, and that's why I'm sitting up here, and I just don't think I'm any different from any of you. And actually, you guys have an advantage over me, because now you know, I think we have 3 attorneys on this panel, so now you know 3 of us. There's 3 attorneys that you know that you can always reach out to if you're interested in some of the work that we do. We hope that we see some of you in the chairs up here one day. I really do. And if I have one piece of advice to give you, it's to take risks. Don't be afraid, work hard, of course, everyone's gonna tell you to work hard, and you gotta be a little lucky on the way, but take risks, put yourself out there. You are qualified, and we really want you to be sitting on this side. And so with that, I'll stop, but thank you so much for welcoming us here.
Hi, good morning. My name is Clint Hastings, and I'm a citizen of the Cherokee Nation. I work with Allison in Washington, D.C., and I guess I'm the 3rd attorney she was referring to, and she said you could contact us whenever you need to, but make sure if you're ever in jail, call Allison. She's the attorney to call then. Hopefully nobody ever has to call her for that purpose. It's really great to be here. It's really special because when I was younger, my parents both worked at BIE schools. My dad was a principal at a place called Theodore Roosevelt Middle School or Junior High in Fort Apache, Arizona. And my mom was a speech pathologist that traveled around to several schools on the Fort Apache Reservation. I think JFK Day School, Civic U, Theodore Roosevelt, several schools out there. So it's really nice to be here, and probably the thing I work on most in Washington, D.C. that affects you all are I work with getting additional funding to improve the quality of our school buildings. You guys have a wonderful school here, but I'm sure if you've got other schools or have friends that go to other BIE schools, you know that you're really lucky. So that's one of the most important things I work on is making sure that we improve the quality of our schools. So thank you for having us here.
Enrolled tribal member of the Miami Nation here in Oklahoma. And yeah, please, take your seats. Thank you very much for that. My job is with the Bureau of Indian Affairs Office of Justice Services. I work with your school resource officers. My job is to work with our BIE partners to ensure that schools are safe and a good place to learn. Hey, Obama. Allison, because every time she says that, anywhere they go, people scream, and so I thought, well, I'd stand up here kind of quiet. I always save law enforcement for last. That's good. But anyway, so I work with your school resource officers, Officer Kibo and the others that work here. A big round of applause for those guys, right? So anyway, I'm not going to take much of your time because I'm as excited to hear the next speaker as you are, and I know somebody wants to introduce him. Very, very cool guy, very cool guy. So I'm anxious to hear him speak again. So if you can.
Everybody knows me, I'm Miss Beatty. So glad to see everybody back, safe. Good to see everybody. I know Dave, we kind of grew up together. The first time I met him, he was a little guy. I played basketball for his dad, and he probably don't even know this story. I was 14, I came home Thanksgiving from boarding school. A common friend of ours named Tiny, she was looking for ball players. My dad come home, he said, hey, they're looking for ball players to go to Canada. You want to go? I said, yeah. So we jump in this tin can of a van, we go to Canada. Play ball, Dave's our coach. Well, we won, came back. He was really encouraging me, his dad. I call him Dad when I'm around him. He's always guided me in my life. He even introduced me to my husband. Dave probably don't know that. But I played basketball for him from the time I was 14 till I was 21. First time I met Dave, he was young. His sister Jody, she was a basketball star in Bismarck High School. I graduated from high school and I seen Dave one time and he asked me, "Where are you playing ball?" And I said, "Nowhere, I'm trying to get to Mary." He said, "Well," he was working at United Tribes. He just got it sanctioned for NAIA. He said, "You're gonna play ball for me." So I went there and I played basketball for him. He really made an impact on my family. My sister lost a baby. He was the overseeing United Tribes. He provided everything for the funeral. Me and his sister Jody, we played ball together since I was 14. She was probably about 12. His mother's from Pine Ridge. Yeah, his family's from Pine Ridge, Ogallala. And then we moved back to the reservation and they did too. And his dad was the president of the college there. And I went to school there. He asked me, "Hey, you gotta come play ball for me." So I went there and he really encouraged me to finish college. I went home to take care of my dad. And I wasn't in school, and every time I'd see him, he'd encourage me to go to school, go to college. So I went to college there, and he didn't coach. He kind of had me be coach player. So I've known Dave for a while. I know his wife, grew up with his wife also. Me and his sister were like sisters. I consider her my sister. I was thinking about this, and this is Dave Sr. has had 3 children come speak at our school. Jody, Sunshine, and now Dave. And I'm really humbled to be asked to introduce him. I consider him my brother. I'm so proud of him. Just all the stuff going on up there. When, I seen him get arrested, my sister sent me a video. Me and my girls, we prayed, because those are my people. And just to see what they're going through, see what's going on. I know he has a lot on his shoulders. 6 years old. And you women that want a Lili, let's give him a traditional welcome. Okay, so this is Mr. Dave Archambault, Chairman of the Standing Rock Lakota Tribe.
Good morning, everyone. I was looking around and just in the audience, and I see some Resball affiliate sweaters. Show us your Resball affiliate sweater. Is that something that just unique for Riverside? I gotta get one of them. Those are like Mickey was talking about, basketball is something that helped us shape who we are. And there's a lot of things in life that shape who we are. And just so everybody knows who I am, I'm nobody. Well, I would say I'm Ikje Wichasha. I'm a common man. I'm the same as everyone else. I have the same feelings, the same emotions, the same beliefs, everything. So being a common man pushed out in front. So basketball, I think just from this morning with the little ones, it sounds like basketball is something big. Basketball has always been a part of my life. But I just want you to know that in between these lines, basketball is something that tells me about you. So if I was to watch a basketball game, I can tell a lot about your character because it shapes who you are. Basketball is something that defines you. Whether you're on the floor competing, or whether you're on the bench, whether you're 6th man or 12th man, it shapes and it determines who you are as a person. And every player is important, whether you're starting or you're on JV or you're whatever. And when you get on the floor in a situation, you take advantage of the opportunity and you present yourself, you represent who you are, you represent where you come from, you represent your school, your community, your family. And so your behavior is what dictates what kind of person you are. And there's a lot of things that shape you as a person. There's, like Mickey said, there's family. There's role models. And I think, one of the things that I know about our Indian children is that we need more of them. You guys right here are role models to the little ones that came before us. So they're gonna watch you, and one of them, if you gave one of them some encouraging words, they're gonna think it's gold, and they're gonna take that, and it's gonna shape them. So you have influence, and we have teachers, we have counselors, we have principals, we have different people that come across us in our lives who help shape us. So I could go through a list, and my wife and I did this. My wife and myself, with all this thing with the Dakota Access Pipeline and the water protectors and all this going on Standing Rock, I had to say, what I'm feeling and what I'm doing, is it the right thing? Is it the right thing? Because sometimes I feel like I'm not always doing the right thing, and sometimes I feel like I'm alone. Even though I have Indian country behind us, I feel like I'm alone because I have to make some real tough decisions. So I had to go through this exercise, and you guys can do this too. When I was, Mickey kind of did it with us. When I was 0 to 5, when you're age 0 to 5, who in your life do you remember? Write that name down. When you're 5 to 10, who in your life do you remember? When you're 10 to 15, who in your life do you remember? When you're 15 to however old you are, I don't know if there's anyone older than, we might have some 20-year-old seniors. For 15 to 20, who in your life do you remember? You take those names, this is what I did. I took those names, and from when I was 20 to 30, 30 to 40, I'm 45 today. And I took all those names and I put them down. I have my dad, of course, my mom, my aunt, my uncle, my school counselor, and I said, my grandpa, and I said, what would they do in the situation that I'm in? All those people shaped who I am. I'm not here because of what I did or what I say or what I do. It's because of the people that I remember. They're the ones who gave me the person, made me the person who I am. And I can honestly say that what I'm doing is probably what all of them would do, all they would do. So I question myself a lot. Am I doing the right thing? And I'll share with you a little bit about how this whole pipeline thing started and this movement. I'll back up even a little further than that. I got a little cold. So when I was in high school, when I graduated in high school, I didn't know what I was going to do. What am I going to do in life? I asked my dad. My dad's in education. Anybody in education will know Big Dave, Dave Archambault, Sr. And Big Dave would, I was sure, Big Dave's going to say, go to school, get your education, become a teacher, become a principal, become a superintendent. He's going to tell me that. I already know that. I read his mind already. I asked my dad, what should I become? What should I do? What should I go into school for? He said, you know what, you should go to school for economic development. Go and get a business degree, start a business. Today I own a business. He said, go to school, get a degree. I said, why? He said, because if you look around Standing Rock, there's not one Indian-owned business, not one. This was a long time ago. So today I own a business in Cannibal. But that was something that he was put in my life. He was put in my path. And he started to shape me. I went into business, I thought, you know, to save or to change things in Indian country, we have to have an economic development. We need more Indian business owners. So I thought that was the answer to all the problems that plague Standing Rock. The second thing, business is not working, maybe I need to get into politics. So I became a politician, and I ran for tribal council. And the reason why I ran was because who am I to judge and place judgment on people and say this is how you should do it, unless I do it myself. So even if I didn't get elected, I said that's fine. At least I could say I ran, and then I could just tear apart all the tribal councilmen and the chairman and say they did wrong. So I ran, and here I got elected. So I got elected, and I thought that's the answer. You know, we got to change our policies. I got to change our laws, make this a better environment for business to happen, so we can make a better life for our people. And then the other thing that I thought, well, politics is not. What politics did was, you know, I came into politics and I was smiling. I had a big smile on my face. My eyebrows were way apart. After 4 years, my eyebrows were touching. I was frustrated. And so then I said, that's not the answer. Government reform is not the answer. Maybe we gotta help our men. Because if we look at men, and all of you guys that are in here, it's a reality. Our women are taking care of us. Our women are taking responsibility. So maybe our men have to step up. Why don't our men like school? Why don't our men? Well, I think we like to work with our hands. So I got into workforce development and anything with truck driving, welding, carpentry. We got to get our men those skills so they can get employed, so they can become responsible for the things that they're making, and they can change. And then I became the chairman. So it kind of went full circle, but then all along, what's most important, and the reason why I'm here today, is because of kids. The kids on our reservation. The kids at home. How do we make our homes a better place? What can we do to make our homes a better place? And I know what the answer is. It's in education. So we have a panel here. We have a panel of experts who are here to listen. And if you guys have the solutions, you need to tell what it is to make this a better school, make something better for you. And so I'm the chairman, right? So there's some significant things that happen. 2013, I meet the President Obama. First, I just get elected, and I get an opportunity to meet the president. So, if you, and knowing I only have 5 minutes with the president, if you have an opportunity to meet the president of the United States, what would you ask? So, I had 3 asks. This is 2013. First ask, don't sign off on KXL pipeline. Second ask, day before he made an announcement that he was going to visit Indian country. So the second ask, I said, come visit Standing Rock. If you get a chance to come out, we can show you something. So the third ask was, you have to change how we educate. So if we're going to make a difference in Indian country, the education system that you guys are a part of now, it has to work. It's broke. It's not working. And I'll tell you what, at home, if I have 10 kids who start school from first grade, or kindergarten to 12th grade, 10 of them, half of them don't even graduate. 50%. Something's wrong, something's broke. And of the 50% who do graduate, 80% of them end up in correctional facilities or institutions. Something's not working. So I told the president, if you guys are listening, you know, the thing that I care about most are kids, are youth. And so when we had an opportunity, President, first he didn't sign KXL pipeline. Second, he came to Cannonball, which is on Standing Rock. And third, he wanted to reform the Bureau of Indian Education. How do we change Bureau of Indian Education? And that was the first time since the existence of BIE that we started looking at changing how Bureau of Indian Education works for our kids. So you have the answers. You guys have the answers. These guys can put it into play on how you can better learn. What I see is education system is trying to cram information into your head instead of being a facilitator and letting you become who you want to be and be what you want to be. And every one of you can be it. And that's what I say to kids is, if you have something to say, say it. If you have something to do, you got to do it. And I'm here in my position, my role to encourage you to do that. And I've been doing that. So when I had a chance to meet Obama, the second time, I said, I want him to meet with kids, because that's where the answer is. So we had 6 kids that sat down with him and Michelle Obama, and they shared their story. All the wrongs, the historic wrongs that took place, it's not hurting me, it's hurting our kids. So they were able to share their stories, and then it had an impact on him, had a meaningful impact. So when we look at this pipeline, why is this pipeline, how did the whole thing start? Again, it was our kids. The kids at Standing Rock stood up and they said, we don't want oil in our water. We have to do something. We have to stop this pipeline from happening. So we did. But it was because my ear and the tribal council leadership's ear has always been focusing on how can we make our homes a better place. For who? For our kids. For the kids who are not even born yet. The ones that are not even alive. Your kids, your grandkids. How do we make the decisions we make today? What are we going to do to make it better for tomorrow? And it's not about what can we get or what can I do for myself today. If I start making decisions like that, it doesn't help. So that's where our focus has always been. When we go to the pipeline, I'll share with you a little bit about kind of a history, I guess. We've been fighting this for 2 years. We have our legal experts, we have expert witnesses, we met with different people at different levels, and the construction started, like Mickey said, I got arrested. And it was that was the first time I got arrested. But it wasn't because I felt it was the right thing to do. It was out of emotion. Oh, this is going on too much, so we got to do something about it. And I happened to be at that time, and it took place. But after that day, we had people from all over starting to come. The first tribe was Oglalas. I knew that I had over 200 people coming from Oglala, and I had Cheyenne River, Sioux tribe. So these are tribes in the Great Plains, Northern Great Plains, who were first coming at 200, and then the next day I had 300, so I had 500 people, I can't, and I never imagined that there would be 10,000 people. But I knew at that time when 500 people, what can we do? And here's the scary thing. So here I am, always trying to think about what's best for our kids. I have young people, young men, coming up to me. And they say, Dave, I'm here. I'm ready to die. And that was starting to wear on me. I was more than once that happened, where young men would say, we're here, what do we need to do? We're here, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die for water. And I was feeling that, I was carrying it. And it wasn't until my wife, she said, you're changing. I wasn't getting any sleep. For 6 days I didn't sleep. She said, you're changing. You need to go pray. You need to go to the sweat lodge. So I went. And after that sweat, I was able to let everything go. And what I realized was, I don't want anybody to die. I don't want one person to die. It's not worth it. If we're fighting to make lives better for our kids, why are we trying to die? We're looking for kids that are not even born yet. Why are we trying to die? That's going to make things worse. And then there was this council lodge that was set up, and I met with elders. And these elders, they said, you're thinking too much with your mind. You have to think with your heart and use your mind together. Man, that made sense to me. So the next day, someone came up to me. Dave, I'm ready to die. I said, I don't want you to die. Don't die. What you should be coming up to me saying is, I'm ready to live. These are men, young men, no older than you guys. You should be saying, I'm ready to live, and I want to live for my family. I want to live for my kids. I want to live for my nieces, my nephews. I want to be a good son. I want to be a good uncle. I want to be a good grandpa. I want to be a dad. That's what you should be saying. So today is the time that we need to change who we are. We need to start thinking about how do we make our lives better, not for us, but for somebody else. So that's kind of how things start going. And the other part of it was prayer. It was beautiful because we started getting tribes from everywhere. And it was hard and it was challenging, but what kept it simple and easy was prayer. Being able to pray. You have to believe that there's a higher power. You have to have faith that things are going to happen the way they are. So prayer, even today, every day, you have to pray. You know, last night I was in the hotel room, and I just laid down, bathroom light was on. I was laying there, and pretty soon that bathroom light went off. I just kind of thought that was strange. I was thinking there must be some timer on there. So I let it go, and I fell asleep. About 12:30 last night. I felt like somebody was watching me, so I opened my eyes. And that bathroom light was on. And the back of my hair stood up, and I didn't want to go to the bathroom. I got kind of spooked out there. I said, holy cow, what's going on? So I got up and I went to the bathroom and looked, there's nothing there. But here's what I said. You know, somebody's praying for me. Somebody's, the Creator looks after you. The spirits look after you. The spirits can't hurt you. They won't hurt you. It's other people that will hurt other people. It's not the spirits, so I believe that. And I know there's higher power. And I always have this, I have this rock. I have the cough drop on top of that rock. I have this rock that was given to me. And this is my protection. I always take this with me no matter where I go. It's gonna look after me. And I always put it in my right hand, my right side pocket. I always know it's there. So there's two things that I always look after every day. This rock and my wedding ring. Why is, so a lot of times it comes to, why is the tribe and why is Indian country fighting this fight? Why are we fighting this fight? What does it mean? Well, we look at water as a relative, something that's necessary for all life. And this is the easiest way to explain it. to help other people understand how we believe. So if I were to, there's a word that we use, it's called, we say midakyase. What does midakyase mean? We're all related, right? So does that mean that I'm related to every one of you? Does it mean that we're all related one way or another? To me, midakyase means that everything has a spirit. Everything has a nagi. Nagi is kind of like a soul. So when I say everything, I mean grass, trees, animals, everything has a spirit. So when you say nagi, it means it has a soul. And when you say midakyase, that means, and the way we saw it is the way we look out in the field, and if we see movement, anything that has movement, we don't move it. Wind, whatever, if it has movement, there's a spirit there. When we say midakyase, those spirits are related. And because they're related, we're able to get the medicines that we need, because there's communication there. And there's a respect for that. So, and everything needs water. Many wichoni, water is life. So all these, the environment, everything in there is precious to us. There's not one greater than the other. Humans are not greater than water. Humans are not greater than trees. So we have to understand that's the spirituality behind everything. So this whole thing has evolved, and it continues to evolve today. One thing is, I have a son. His name is Jace. He's a good basketball player. They have a team at home, Solon. So you got to ask the question: how many of you heard of Wounded Knee? I grew up on Pine Ridge. I lived in Kyle, South Dakota. And I'll tell you what happened was, my dad was a coach. And this is like late 70s, early 80s, after Wounded Knee. After the aftermath of Wounded Knee. Little Wound could not get any basketball games with any teams in the state. We had to play St. Francis, Pine Ridge, Red Cloud, Wombly, or Crazy Horse. We had to play Indian schools. We'd play them at their gym, and then they'd play us at our gym. That was the schedule because like Bennett County or Custer, none of these teams would come to the reservation because of what happened at Wounded Knee. And it created a lot of trauma, I guess. Racism, discrimination, stereotyping. A lot of that took place. So when we say Standing Rock, stand with Standing Rock, that doesn't mean Wounded Knee. We've always said we want to be prayerful and peaceful, and we don't want people to die. We want people to start living now, turn the corner, so that we can do something great for our kids that are not even born yet. So when I have a son, we have kids in our community, we want to make sure that their life is better. So I always had to balance the things that are taking place at the camp. And at the camp, every tribe that's up here has been there. I would say that we have over 360 tribes that supported us. We have over 260 flags from every nation across the United States. They've all been there. So when I say who's from Standing Rock, every one of you should say I'm from Standing Rock. I know I have some members from Standing Rock. I think there's about 7 I heard. But so there's just different, the way this thing has been evolving, thinking about safety. We want our people to live. And when the time came when we asked for 3 things, we've been asking for 2 years, do a full environmental impact statement, not an EA. An EA is an environmental assessment. They assess whether or not this pipeline is going to hurt our community. Environmental impact statement does a study and says, what is at risk? And it takes time. But we know that our people are special. All of us in here have been the first occupants of these lands. We have our culture, we have our language, and it's going to be the youth who's going to bring the language and our spirituality back. So we have that. And I'm seeing it, more and more youth standing up, saying what they want, doing what they want, relearning the language. So when we got the things that we asked for, consider reroute, don't give it easement, and consider doing an environmental impact statement, I asked people to go home. The purpose of the camp and water protectors has been served. And I met resistance from the camp, but that's okay. But we had 10,000 people. And then we had a winter storm hit right after that. We had 30 inches of snow, negative 35 degrees below zero. It's still cold up there today. That's why I think I have a cold. That's putting lives at risk, and I don't want to do that. So I said it's okay to go home, come back in the spring when it's safer. And all the issues that came from home to the camp still exist. So we have to try to address a lot of these things. Now, where the camp was is a flood. So we're starting to work. So there's always been an evolution. And I get resistance from, and that's why I question myself, am I doing the right thing? Am I Indian enough? That's one thing that I know when I was growing up. It was hard to identify whether or not you're Indian because I didn't have the language. My dad didn't know the language. His mom didn't want to teach him the language because she got beat every time she spoke it. So our language was lost. And I felt different. So I had a hard time identifying, but what I'm seeing today, which is really encouraging, is our youth, you guys, are standing up and you're proud to be Indian. And you're taking the initiative and you're going to bring that language back. You're the 7th generation that everybody's been talking about. So I'm excited and I can't wait to see. I'll probably only live to see it, but the prophecy says the things that we know, when 7 generations go, will almost be gone, and then they'll come back 7 generations later, and we'll know more than what we knew then. And it's about the environment. So why are we fighting this? Because everything's related. And the things that we do today are gonna dictate, our behavior is gonna dictate the outcome for your guys' kids, for their kids, for their kids. And if we don't change our behavior, if we don't change and we start respecting Mother Earth, Uchimuka, there's not going to be anything left for our kids. So this movement has brought that about. So we can start now because you guys came. No, I could talk forever, and it's not about me. It's about having an ear for you guys. And if you have something you want to ask, whether it's about the school, we have a panel here, whether it's about the pipeline, whether it's about anything. I want to give you guys an opportunity to ask questions. If you want to know if I like dogs or cats, I'll answer those questions too. I have horses, whatever it is. You're welcome to ask any questions. If it's about basketball, yeah, I like OKC, but they're not going to go. What do you want? Do you have any questions? What's your question?
I'm pretty sure most people see, our relatives get mistreated by these officers, and I just want to know, like, what was going through your head when you see these injustices and the emotions you felt.
Right. So his question is the injustices that take place when our relatives. So what I always say is, I don't condone violence in any way, and I don't approve of the treatment. I think that the law enforcement could have done something different. Do we have to go? To what? So I'll let someone go. Let's go to VOTEC, take off. Thank you guys for listening, being patient. Here's the thing that I like about whenever you have to be patient and listen to people talk, you get out of class. That's always a good thing. But to answer your question, I don't condone violence in any way. I don't like it when law enforcement I thought they could have did something better than use the force that they did. I also think that a lot of our members, the water protectors, could have pulled back. And so there wasn't this confrontation. Standing Rock Sioux Tribe has always said, we don't encourage people to get arrested, even though I got arrested. We don't encourage people to get arrested. So, but there's a reason, you know. The reason why it's called civil disobedience, and this is something that helped shape the United States with civil rights movements. When something's legal, and we have a bunch of lawyers here, when something's legal but wrong, you have to stand up against it. And that's how we felt, is that we're standing up against something that's, the pipeline got all the permits, got all the approvals to do this, but it's still wrong. So we have to stand up against it. And sometimes civil disobedience is one way to get your voice heard when nobody else listens. And that's how we felt for the last 2 years, was nobody would listen to us. Any other questions? Go ahead. Yeah. There's no, just so you know, there's no bad question. What did I think about BIE and what's the future of BIE? What's the future of BIE and Donald Trump?
Now, the future of BIE, I'll tell you, it starts here. The chairman talked about we've got to hear from our students and our staff. So what we've started doing is this. I've always been one that sat back and I've always said, you know what, there's no one, we have leaders in BIE that don't know what we go through at the school levels. They don't know what we have with our kids. Just Friday, I had a chance to sit at a table with some appropriation members. So with our experience, it's not about me. It's not about anybody here. It's about you. So where do I take that conversation? I take that conversation straight to our students. It's about what we need to make sure that our kids are challenged and that you're served. It's about making sure our teachers get what they need. So the future of us, our BIE, is we've got to continue bringing great people along like Mr. Stevens. We've got to hear from our staff, our school boards, and our tribes. Because we haven't had a voice for so long in BIE from tribal members, teachers, and students. In my experience in being in BIE real quick, is I always call it the 10,000 foot level. We've always stayed up here. So I asked one time in a national meeting, for 2 days we sat and we talked about education. Not one time did we make it to the schools. That's a problem. We should be making it to where you're at. We should be making it to the classrooms. What do the teachers need to make sure, what do the administrators, teachers need to make sure our kids are challenged and have what you need? So there's a lot of things that the future of BIE, we're excited about it. The one thing is we've gone through a reorganization, and what we've done is we've moved people around. And I get this question, and this is for staff. You've taken the same people and you just moved them in different boxes. What's going to change? Our mindset has to change. Our mindset. And I know that we have staff that are going to appreciate this, is when BIE calls the school, they shouldn't be calling the school to tell you what you're doing wrong. They should be calling the school to see how they can help you. Everyone in this room, you're our success. You're our success. I'll go back to my success in education. My success, I haven't done great. I don't have this magical power or anything like that. What I've done is I've always listened to people. I've always listened to our staff. My job was to have a servant mentality to make sure that our staff had what they needed to serve our kids. Who's our student council members? Raise your hand. The people that have their hands up right now, if you're not on student council, I'm getting with Mr. Yago, and I'm saying I want on student council. You're the voice that represents our student body. Future BIE is bright. I'm excited about that. Well, Mr. President-elect's coming in. I don't know. I don't know what's going to. I know this. We're going to continue doing what we're doing right now, and I'm excited about the future of BIE. But as far as what the president-elect comes in, we'll continue to work with the next administration, and time will tell.
I'll just add that it doesn't matter what administration comes through. We've been through many, and Indian people have always been, and we're still here. So it doesn't matter what administration is there, we just got to keep pushing forward, and you guys are the ones that have to take the lead and make the change for us. Any other questions? Go ahead.
I was wondering, how can you guys be able to help not just during the school year, but during the summer? Because there are some students who don't want to go back home and have like a bad lifestyle at home. And it's just like, if you guys would have summer programs to have even home skills, like cooking or sewing or something like that, that would help students not like get on drugs or even bad decisions or go to jail or even not do anything at all, not do that.
Okay, so I'm gonna sum up what she said. She said, what can we do in the summertime so that there is a place for our youth so they don't get mixed up in the wrong things when they go home, and I'll tell you one, so she gave us the answer. One of the answers, and our kids have so much wisdom. If we just sit back and listen, they have the answers. Let's have a summer school where we can do home ec or cooking or carpentry or welding, things like that, where we can get some real skills, life skills. When we had when the third time I met Obama, we took a bunch of kids, 20 kids, and we met with them at the White House, and we did an exercise. When we said, in this exercise we said, what will you do to change at home? Come up with a plan, and they pushed all the adults out. And the kids came up with, they had 4 groups, and they came up with 2 plans. The first one was the only one that was different. They said, and Mr. Cruzan's here, they said, what we want law enforcement so that drugs are not in our communities. These are kids telling us. The other 3, they said, what we want is we want a recreational building where we can do yoga, we can have a yoga bar, we can have a sweat lodge, we can have basketball courts where the adults don't push us off the floor. So they start telling us about 3 of the 4 groups, separate independent groups, said, we need something. So that tells me, if I listen to kids, they want something at home where they can do something. There's nothing to do, where they can do something healthy, where they can change the way they eat, change our diet, where we can address the problems with law enforcement, our lack of law enforcement. So our kids know what's happening. She's asking, is there a way that we can do something in the summertime?
We're looking at right now.
I just received a text while I'm sitting up here, and we need to really get with some numbers on summer school. So there's a possibility that we are going to offer some summer school. But right now, I've got to get with Mr. Vineyard and Ms. Samant, and we've got to come up with the numbers. So we are looking at that, and that's coming because of the students. So thanks again.
You have a question? I saw you raise your hand, you have to ask the number. What? Any other questions? What's your question?
Would you say that our generation, the 7th generation, still suffers from historical trauma? And
Do I-
if so, how do you think we would be able to surpass it?
Do I think that this generation, the 7th generation, still suffers from historic trauma? And if so, I'd say yeah. Well, I would say yes, we do. And how do you address it? With historical trauma, a lot of times what we focus on is what can we do now. So here's how I look at things. There's 4 different levels of maturity, okay? 4 different levels of maturity. So when you're a kid, the first level is that you look after yourself. You look after everything that you can do for yourself. The second level is you may have a child. So it's no longer about you anymore. You're looking after your child. Third level, you're an adult. You're a young adult, now you're an adult. As an adult, what kind of environment do you want your child to live in? So what we have to do is we have to go through those maturity levels. What kind of home, what kind of community do I want my child to be in? So you're not just looking after you, you're not just looking after your kid, but you're looking after the whole community. And then you become an elder. The 4th level of maturity is an elder. And as an elder, now you're looking at, what can I do for this world? What can I do for this universe? And it ties into our culture and our spirituality. But because of historical trauma, a lot of us never get past the first level of maturity. And we'll have elders who are still looking after themselves. And it's not their fault. So as young people, as kids, now is the time to start realizing that I have to go through different levels of maturity, and I have to think about, what can I do to take care of myself? What can I do to take care of my kids? What can I do to make my community better? What can I do to make this world better? And you can have a child, a young child, experience all 4 levels of maturity. Any other questions? So you have a basketball team. I'd love to watch you. I'd love to see what kind of character you have. How do you handle yourself during pressure? And that's what I look for in basketball. You know, I think it's about the experience, and everybody loves to win. And I'm sure you guys have the talent, and you'll have a successful season. But you got to be mindful of how you play and how you present yourself and who you represent. You represent the school. You represent your nation. So that's what I would come to watch. And I just want you to, one question. Easy listening to someone talk. I know it's you have displayed a lot of respect, and I commend you for that. I thank you for being patient with me and listening. And hopefully the message that I sent had something that you can carry with you and take with you and learn, so that you can change lives in your homes, your communities.
Can y'all sit still for a minute? Ms. Whiteman is going to do a presentation, and then Ms. Saman also.
And I know that we can be respectful for the rest of the 4 minutes, 5 minutes that we're here before we leave. But before Chairman sits down, please give him a Riverside Brave welcome and thank you. Chairman, I would like to introduce Comanches on the Move. They are a grassroots organization from the Comanche Nation. They are their water protectors. And they have visited the camp 3 times. And I'm going to ask Geneva to come up. I don't know where the little water protector is, but their youngest one is Rio, and he's about 4 years old. And he's here, but Ms. Hadley? Ms. Hadley?
The first time we went up there, we took our Comanche Code Talker bus, and we were welcomed with open arms, and we haven't forgot that. We left and that Monday morning, and it felt like we were all sad. You know, it's like when we left something behind. And we never forgot that, so we planned on making another trip back. And we did. This time we took our, I don't know, I think we had like a 15 caravan of vans. And the first time we went, there was about 35 of us. The second time, that doubled. And some of us have gone up there individually, Oklahoma and Texas, that are going to directly affect us. So right now we're working on getting things done around here in our home country. And it's thanks to the Sioux people for opening our eyes and, you know, making us realize what needs to be done here. We're having a winter festival next Monday. I invite all of you out. I think the crown dancers are coming to dance. So if you guys want to come out, it's 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. We're going to have a lot of bands and your kind of music. So right now we have a gift for you.
I wanted to make sure that you were, I'm Cindy from Arrow, by the way, Oklahoma singer and commander. Make sure that you're welcome in our state, in our neck of the woods, and that we really appreciate your efforts, and we will stand with you. Just make a call.
Water is life.
Thank you, and Nikki Gardner to come to the center. Chairman, on behalf of Riverside, Mr. Satoke and Nikki would like to present you a painting, which was an original from Mr. Satoke. He is a direct descendant of the Kiowa Five, which is very, very meaningful not only in our Indian world, but in the art world as well. So with that, they would like to present you this painting. And it's a picture of the water bird. For those of the students may know what kind of bird this is. And again, our very own Mr. Satoke is the creator of this beautiful painting. So I'd like to say thank you so much. We'd like to, again, extend our total gratitude for you being here with us and with Native people. Like have Shelby. There he is, over there. This is Shelby. He is from Cannonball. He is, oh, there he is right there. Shelby's standing there. And we'd like and this is his chairman, and nothing is more special than to be able to present your chairman with a gift. So with that, I say thank you. And this is Shelby and Brian Poston. Students, real quick, our friends here who has visited with us, they are paving the road for you. They come here to encourage you, which leads to motivation, which leads to inspiration. And that's what we here at Riverside would like to make sure that you are inspired to chase that dream. And these people right here, they are paving that road for you. And I'm so happy that they took time to be here with us, and also Chairman to be here to share their story and their perseverance and the vow to never quit. Thank you.
So, one last thing. If you want to make a better life for your kids and the kids in the future, do it without alcohol, do it without drugs, do it with prayer, do it with unity, do it peacefully. And the seventh generation will overcome anything, any trauma. Thank you for listening.
Students, in an orderly fashion, you're dismissed to lunch.